As far as starting, biggest struggle started when I was younger, and the biggest struggle was going to a door and knocking on it. Once I learned how to go to a door and knock on it and be okay with rejection, that was one of the biggest things.
Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Ben. I hope you grow your wealth so you can live your life on your own terms. Well, today we have a special video for you. I was privileged to interview Adrian Zapata. He's an entrepreneur out of San Antonio, Texas. He's 21 and he runs his own service-based business. Now, what's special about this is he started off with just a simple side hustle, something that you've probably heard of, thought of, or even tried. Now, Adrian talks about the initial barriers that he had to break through, how he brought other people on board, developed and leveraged his skills, and now he has his eyes set on expansion. So this is going to be a two-part series. Today we're going to be focusing specifically on how Adrian started his side hustle and seeing if maybe it's a good fit for you. Now, if you want to know how he took that side hustle and grew it to a high profit and high leverage business, then make sure you're here next Friday. Of course, the best way to make sure you don't miss a video is to hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, tap the notification bell. All right, I can't wait any longer. Let's meet Adrian. Welcome on, Adrian. It's really good to get you on here. You're the first person that I'm interviewing on this channel, and really excited, man. After we had the phone call where we talked earlier and got to hear about your story, man, you're an inspiration, and I think a lot of people are going to learn from this interview. So I just want to start off by hearing a little bit about your background, where you came from. I am going to spoil it. You are into lawn mowing. You do other stuff on top of that, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you want to just talk about how you got started as an entrepreneur in general and where you found your way into lawn mowing, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I started when I was younger. My dad, he would actually take me to the neighborhood up the street, and basically he cut grass just like whenever he needed extra side money. So if Adrian wanted a toy, well, Adrian had to go make some money. So dad would take me over there, and I'd cut the grass. That's how it started. Eventually, I grew up and I made some friends in that neighborhood, so I just left my push mower and weed eater over there, and I cut grass. Just while I was there, I'd make few extra dollars, do just fine. Then I ended up getting into high school. From there, still cutting grass, and I was also a cook. I was really big into sports, so sports took up majority of my time. It was what I loved. It was my passion. I wasn't chasing money then. Um, I still had lawn care going. I wish I could have pushed more in lawn care, but I was also a cook, and I got comfortable. And really, I just kept enough lawn care customers to make sure I had enough money coming in. Kept the cooking stuff to where I was helping out my boss because I enjoyed him, and I had a good time over there. And then yeah, just kind of kept going, kept going. After that, just completely stopped lawn care. Got talked into going to college. Didn't want to go at first. I ended up going, so I went to college. Um, had a good time over there. After it's about a year of school and then COVID, everything happened. I decided, you know what, me and my buddy, we need to make some money. He told me some people did Christmas lights back home, and I said, okay, well, let's do some Christmas lights. So we did Christmas lights, and we made not much our first year. We made $700 our first year in Christmas lights. Started in November, but paid for my rent. Paid for my rent.
Sure.
So that's all I needed. So that was that, and then we got a little bit later into the season, started getting to March, and I said, okay, well, we did Christmas lights. I know how to do lawn care. Let's get into lawn care. So we're both in San Marcos at this time, and we're cutting grass, and we got to it. We ended up running up to probably like 30 customers in San Marcos, and
Wow.
that was going good. Eventually, me and him both ended up just dropping out of school because neither of us really. I was a business management major. The people that were teaching me business management in Texas State, I mean, they weren't doing the things that I wanted to do,
Mm.
and I understood that. Like I was getting more value out of watching Bigger Pockets and Alex Hormozy on YouTube than I was getting out of college, right? So for me, it was like, all right, I know I can make some money in lawn care. I know that my parents, luckily, will still take me back in. So I ended up dropping out of school, moved back to San Antonio, and kept cutting grass. So kept all the lawn care customers in San Marcos that first year. So unfortunately, I was going back and forth. That first year, I ended up teaching one of my buddies over there how to cut grass and take over my customers. So gave him the customers that I had in San Marcos.
Hmm.
I didn't think about selling them. it didn't matter because he didn't have any money to buy them anyways. But the customers were taken care of, everything was fine, and I didn't have to drive over there anymore.
Mm.
Win-win for everybody, and he's doing good over there now too. So it's good to hear that. Good to see that. But then, so back over here in San Antonio, I ended up running up to like 52, so 52 customers the first year, and it was pretty comfortable there. What I had was I had a lot of far yards, so I had yards that were like 15, 20 minutes away. I had a lot of like half-acre properties, and it wasn't fitting the model for the mowers that I had. I had a 32-inch stand on and a 32-inch push mower or a 30-inch push mower. So if you're doing a half acre with a push mower and a little
Yeah.
stand on it, it's not the funnest thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it worked better for me to do smaller yards, get back into the same neighborhoods that I was in when I was younger. And really, if you have money, then you can spend money in marketing. And if you don't, well, then you better get your feet on the pavement and start walking. So I ordered cards, got my feet on the ground, started putting those cards out, signs. I have a sign right here. Simply
Nice.
just a lawn care sign with your phone
Mm-hmm.
number on it real quick. And that's all it was. You start getting calls, you learn how to answer them, and that was that.
Wow.
Makes sense. It works out.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Lots to unpack there. So going back to the beginning, so you always kind of were an entrepreneur. That was just something that you did. Was that specifically because of your upbringing? Why was that?
I would say, yeah, when I was younger, my mom used to leave us for daycare at my grandma's house. I loved horses, so when I was bored, it was like 2005. There wasn't any internet, so I was selling horses to random people that I in my imagination in my grandma's room. So I was just always thinking about something, running a business and selling something. I have horses, so I know that horse manure was used inside like little gardens and stuff
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and you know fertilize the garden. So I would sell bags of horse poop for $5 a bag, and that was like my first entrepreneurial journey. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of something that I always had in the back of my head. It's just something that kind of came a little bit more naturally to
Mm-hmm.
me. But yeah, so it's been with me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's learning how to turn anything into an opportunity is a big part of being an entrepreneur, and it's awesome when you see people who started off young doing all these things. But at the same time, even if you're maybe where you are now and you're just getting started, I think lawn mowing and stuff like that is a really great way to get started. And it's not pretty, right? Lawn mowing isn't one of the prettier side hustles, and definitely the stuff that you did as a kid, it isn't the most prettiest thing, but it's profitable and it's going to get you to a much better position.
100%. And that's really why I got into it. Before this, like I said, when I was back at school, I was going to school and I was running Uber Eats. So I
Mm.
was still taking a 30-minute commute to Austin, from San Marcos to Austin to go run Uber Eats. And I would spend 5 hours trying to get $100. And now I go run lawn care. I mean, literally, like I charge about $50 to $70 depending on how big the yard is, and we're getting done in 30 minutes. So
Wow.
you knock two of those out in 30 minutes, you're hitting 80 to $110 in an hour. Like that, right? Just simply that, like made a click in my mind. It's like,
Mm.
okay, I can either drive to Austin in my little Malibu and go work 5 hours and run Uber Eats, or I could stay here in San Marcos and I could use my buddy's truck and we can go out and cut grass. And there's two of us, so we need to. If we were trying to make $100, then we need to cut 4 yards. So it's 4 yards in a day, and we each get $100. All right, sounds good. Like let's do it. So yeah, simply that little knowledge there, I mean, is what made me go into it.
What would you say, did you like have a big struggle when you were starting it, like mindset
When I
struggles?
started,
Yeah, like what were the biggest struggles for you when you started that?
biggest struggles, honestly, the biggest as far as starting, biggest struggle started when I was younger, and the biggest struggle was going to a door and knocking on it.
Mm.
Once I learned how to go to a door and knock on it and be okay with rejection, that was one of the biggest things. Literally, it's so simple to go to a door, knock on it. Hey, how are you doing? I see your grass is just a little long. Would you like it cut? I can cut it right now. I have my stuff right there in the truck. Okay, absolutely. Especially if you're a younger guy
Mm.
too, or I mean, if you're going out there knocking on the door, somebody's gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, wow!" Like it's not just some little kid over here asking his parents for money. Like he's coming out here to go make some money. It's so hard to say no after a while, and I mean, you're gonna get your no's, but that's okay. You dust them off your shoulder. You go on to the next one. You keep on asking. So eventually, you'll get good at that. But yeah, from the beginning, that was one of the biggest scarcities is like getting customers.
So what were your friends doing at this time? Were they doing stuff like this? You were in high school when you started,
Um,
right? So did you kind of stick out like a sore thumb, or was this kind of the thing?
yeah, high school stuck out like a sore thumb. I was weird for wanting money. Even my coaches, because like I said, I was real big into sports. So my coaches even told me like, Adrian, you're just money hungry. You're just money
Mm,
hungry. And because I would always tell like I'm listening to Bigger Pockets in high school, telling them this, and this, and I'm like, watch, I'm gonna do it one day. And they're like, Adrian, you're just money hungry. So yeah, no, stuck out like a sore thumb. Once I got into college, I was very intentional about going out and finding friends that came from money. I wanted to learn what they learned from their parents. That was one of the biggest things that I thought about was let me go and find some friends that came from a rich an environment that I didn't get a chance to grow up in,
mm,
and let me go learn some new things that I don't know. And within that, I ended up gaining a lot of great friends. A lot of the friends I ended up meeting at Texas State. I mean, I have DT's Firewood. He's now doing roofing stuff. He was one of the presidents in my fraternity. So he ended up doing six figures, I think, last year. So that was one guy I got really cool with.
wow.
My other buddy, Tommy, he's doing metal and sound fabrication like that. I mean, he's pushing a good amount of money as well. I have another friend that his dad does real estate, and now he's working for him and doing some of the real estate stuff with them. So those are the guys that I wanted to hang out with because they were doing something. I was no longer sticking out like a sore
Hmm.
thumb. Rather, now I was the small fish in a new pond, you know? And hey, that's not a bad thing. I mean, you're in a
No.
bigger pond now, baby. It's time to shine. So yeah, once I got over there, those are the people that I started to hang out with.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think a big part of being an entrepreneur is finding a new crowd. Spoiler alert for everyone watching: me and Adrian actually met in a mastermind that we're in. So we network with, I think it's like 200 something other entrepreneurs who are doing different side hustles, different businesses. They own real estate. We're all over the board and all over the map. Not even all in the U.S., but it's just really
Yeah,
important
for
to
real.
get in a group and make friends with people who are, at the same stage of life as you, have the same goals as you. Doesn't mean you need to be doing the exact thing, right? I know nothing about mowing lawns. I'm not saying that it's really hard to get started with mowing lawns, but it's not what I do, right? I'm a realtor and I make content. But me and Adrian are having a great conversation. I'm learning a lot from him, and I hope he's learning something from me. So, really important that you get in a good network of like minded people. Absolutely.
As far as once you have the customers and getting the grass cut, it's not that much to get into. I think you can go to Craigslist and probably spend $100 on a little push mower,
Mm,
$100 on a weed eater, maybe get like a $50 on a little blower, a little handheld blower, and go put $50 in marketing. So simple. I mean, I think with just that, you can go ahead and start cutting grass, and literally that's I don't know how much that is. One, two, three. Like if you have $350, $400, you can get into whatever you want for lawn care, and you can make that in 2 days.
absolutely. Yeah.
So get all your money right back in. From there, everything else is profit. And now you're no longer working somewhere for 10, 12, $15 an hour. Now, I mean, you could still be working there 10, 15, $12 an hour, but you have the side hustles where you can go
Mm-hmm.
grab $250 in a day by cutting 5 yards and bang, well, now you just added that on top of what you just did. Plus, you have the added knowledge of learning how to get the customers, learning how to,
Exactly.
get the money in, and then eventually, as you start to grow and grow and grow, those same knowledge points are going to be able to push you push you forward.
Absolutely.
So it makes it all easier.
Yeah, I think the business model is a great way when it's it doesn't cost much to get into it, so it's a low barrier to entry, and it's really easy to start scaling it up. It's great to start doing that on the side. It is a great starter side hustle, but at the same time, it's not going to take you long to realize, hey, I'm making a lot more here. Why don't I just do this? Or why don't I take the same stuff, like you said, that I have learned from this and go try something else? And, we'll get into that later. That's something that you've started to do too. And I know that's been really powerful for your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then long term, I mean, if you're bringing in more money, then you have more money to save. You have more money to put aside to go ahead and start getting into your bigger endeavors, bigger investments. So, I mean, if you can get into something that's a bigger vehicle, a bigger boat that's gonna get you to more money faster, I mean, obviously that's where you want to be.
If I'm someone watching this video and, maybe I've watched through all the stuff we've talked about already, just let's make it really plain and clear for them. Do you think that lawn mowing is a good side hustle for people to start, especially if they're younger and they don't have any experience?
100%. Start it. Yes. I think if you can go make 80 to $100 an hour in any little side business rather than going and raking 15 bucks at Target, yeah,
Which I've done
go ahead
that.
and
I've
start
done
cutting
that,
some
by the way.
grass.
I've worked at Target, and
Same, man.
it's
I
better.
was at Target. I used to sell clothes.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I quit Target to go and cut grass. Actually, yeah, no, I quit Uber Eats. I was at Target, then Uber Eats. I quit Target to go run Uber Eats because Uber Eats gave me more time, more flexibility to kind of run
Mm,
my own schedule. And then from there, I quit the Uber Eats to go ahead and run the lawn care because then I was able to bring in more money and create my schedule. So,
yep, that's
yeah,
awesome. Keep
if
leveling
you can
up.
get into lawn care, I mean, I think it's a very good side hustle to add on.
Adrian, if you have any other specific advice for someone wanting to start, now's the time.
Don't be scared to spend money on education. I think if you can go on YouTube or if you can find other people that have already done the thing that you're trying to do, instead of you going out and you spending all that time trying to figure it out yourself, they know what they're doing. They brought in the money. You're not rewriting the wheel. Like,
Yeah,
go spend the money, go learn the education, and then put that education in action and go ahead and do something about it. That's what I would recommend.
awesome. And maybe that's exactly what they need to hear. You don't need to complicate it. All in all, it's pretty simple. And if you do have certain questions about, marketing or growth, then rewatch this video. I'm sure you can follow Adrian. Adrian, what's your tag so people can follow you on Instagram or something?
Zapata underscore B14, possibly. Zapata underscore B14, I believe.
Cool. Okay.
I
Well,
believe. If not, you can
yeah.
probably just look up Adrian Zapata and find me on there somewhere.
We'll make sure that gets put down in the description and everything so people can find you. So yeah,
Sounds
reach
good.
out to him, do some research, rewatch the video if you have questions. But yeah, this is a great side hustle for y'all to get started with, as you've seen today in today's video. So just whatever you do, whether it's something like this or something else, just get inspired and then just get to work, because your life's gonna change dramatically when you start pursuing alternative methods of building wealth. It's gonna be so impactful for you. Wow. I hope you got as much value out of that as I did. It just goes to show that you never know what something as simple as a side hustle might turn into. If you enjoyed this discussion, give Adrian some love by hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below. And remember, that was just part 1 of a 2-part series, so be here next Friday when Adrian lays out the exact steps that he took to grow that side hustle into a high profit business. Once again, I'm Ben, and I will see you next week.